I'd like to say welcome to my channel. Happy Christmas to you and holidays perhaps, and I hope you have a really good next year. Really hoping that next year will be good for most of us, all of us. Today I want to talk about coming from love. Coming from love is an energetic practice that you can use. It's not what you say, it's even sometimes not what you do, it's the energy of coming from love. If you attempt to actually come from love, and have a mindset that when you're talking to someone, when you're dealing with someone, when you're having some sort of working with somebody, people in your family, friends, that you come from love. And when you have this feeling, it's like you're coming from your heart chakra. That's what it actually is. So everything you're doing is coming through your heart. So even if they're being difficult, or if you actually have other emotions with these people, like maybe you are angry with them or have some resent or disappointment with them, you can still come from love. You just put that aside, and when you deal with them, you sort of come from love. The way I do it is I see myself as, when I speak to them, I'm actually speaking through my heart. I'm not speaking through my human. I'm speaking on a soul level with them. And in that way, when I talk to them, whatever comes out my mouth, even if it has to be, maybe I have to say something how I feel, and they might not like it. If I'm coming from my heart, it'll just come out really much softer. I think it will be received better, and I think that you can actually give them healing when you're talking to them. So what you do is, say you've got to ring up your mum or a friend who's upset you. Before you get on the phone, just white light yourself, and then start to speak from your heart when you talk to them. And listen from your heart. And I know that sounds really weird to be listening with your heart, but a lot of healing happens when people actually listen with love, because there's usually not judgment in it, but also there's a sort of a nice feeling when you speak to someone and they are being loving and you're telling them your big story for the day, or you're having a big whinge, because when you talk to them you can feel the comfort and the nourishment that you're getting from them. They don't even have to say anything, because it's the love, because they're sitting there lovingly. They might even be smiling at you and giving you the look like you idiot or something, but they will not say that probably, where you look at them and think, you're just coming from love. That's why you can listen to all my rabbling on here. I think it's really important to come from love. I think in the next few years people are going to stepping up in love. That's what I call it. And how to step up in love. It's a practice that you can get more and more used to, and it'll make your life better, and it'll definitely make life better with people who are dealing with you. It's not always easy. I'm not going to say it is. The human part of us will be wanting to hold on to stuff, or humans are really into blame and shame and punishment. That's a human condition, I think. It's not really a soul condition. It's not a spiritual way of being. However, we've been taught it and we all know how to do it. So to switch and not come from your human, but come from your soul, will help you. So if you talk and be coming from your soul all the time, you'll find that it'll be easier to come from love, because the soul knows what love is. The human plays around with love, and they've got two versions down here. You've got conditional and unconditional. Unconditional, of course, is from the soul. Conditional is definitely human, about control, power, punishment, and it's a switch on and a switch off. Whereas this kind of coming from love will be switched on all the time. The more I used it, the easier I found it. I got myself in situations where my human didn't really want to do it. Probably I felt they didn't deserve, by the way they behaved toward others. They really didn't deserve it, but I just put that aside because that's an old pattern. And I went, I'm going to do it anyhow. So I'm just going to keep loving them, be loving towards them. You can have your boundaries, of course, and I think that's really important. What you will and can or what can't accept, you need to have that. But you can even do that in a loving way. It's just about a process that you're now changing how you're doing it. Once I started to do that, I had less issues with my control and power stuff, because I'd been brought up in a very, very controlling household. So I'd been taught how to do that, and I married someone who was actually very controlling as well. They were like my lessons, they were my teachers. However, I chose not to do that. Instead of trying to take people's power, coming from love will be empowering them, empowering their choices. giving them time, being patient. It has all those qualities coming from love. And now it's going to be Christmas coming and the new year. I want to see if you can start practicing this for yourself. You can do it everywhere you go. If you're being served at the shop, you can come from love, and you'll find you'll start saying really nice things to people. Genuine, of course, but it was thank you for the lovely service, and it might be the only thank you that they have for the whole week. You don't know. Compliment them if they look nice, or if you like their shirt. It's about giving love. It's about coming from love. It's about giving love, and we can give love to everyone and say good things to everybody, because people don't usually do that. They always think that if you do that, you're doing it for gain, but it's actually the only one who really gains from that, I think, is the person who receives it. You gain, I suppose, because you've stepped up in love. Christmas brings up a lot of stuff for people, people that loved ones who have died, divorces, all these different things come up at Christmas. So it's not really an easy time for most people, a lot of people. Christmas can be very lonely as well. It can be sad and can make you look back. And we usually around Christmas look back on the year and how it's been. Next year, I feel the more you do this, the better your life will actually be. And you will actually cope better with things. Because it really doesn't matter how other people behave, because that's their stuff, that's their karma. But for us, we're trying to sort of move up, step up, evolve. And to evolve in love, you need to come from love. And it's easy to come from love with some loving person. To be with people who are quite unloving and controlling and maybe mean-spirited, to be with them and come from love is very important. I just want to say, though, that if you have people in your life and maybe next year you're going to decide to make some changes, you can come from love for yourself too. If you're in some relationships, some friendships that you really feel are nourishing and not good for you, coming from love is stepping back a bit and assessing whether you still want to be in them. This is very, very important, because self-love is part of coming from love, isn't it? I just feel that we're taught that we're supposed to be there with people forever and ever and loyal. However, if they become unhealthy for us or make our lives a misery, it's okay to step back or step out, because that is called self-love. So I hope you can do this year. I try and do it all the time, obviously, because I'm very into it. However, I'm not saying it's easy, because it actually isn't, and it's going to be quite challenging sometimes. You might have to take a break or leave the room and come back, or not ring straight away until you calm down. I think it's just important to come from love, and in a way, it's going to help your vibration become higher, because love vibration is very high, much higher than most vibrations, and that's going to be good for your aura. Hoping that next year is a good year for you. I hope many of your dreams come true, and I hope the things that you're trying to do and achieve in this life start to manifest. And if you want to meet someone, I hope you meet them. And if you want to do something new and special, your service work, I hope it starts to evolve. Sending you lots of love, and thanks for listening and supporting me this year. I'm sitting here in my little room on my own doing this with my little crows outside eating the bread. Sometimes you'll hear the crows. It's quite hot here in Australia, and so I've got the little fan on. So wishing you well and sending you lots of love and lots of light.